Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
This is James Helder for IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Bar. We're on the road with Scotland's premier #1 MC, Craig Stevens. How are you, Craig?
I'm fine, thanks, James.
Good. So this is what you're driving your downtime. I've got to tell you, you're getting a bit too much money at this MC game, mate.
It's all down to Matchroom. All the rest of them pay me, well, you know, I do it for nothing.
How long have you been an MC, Craig?
Boxing, I've been about 15 years. Started doing the amateurs. I used to do ice hockey.
Wow.
And Big Stevie Maguire, he got a hold of me at an ice hockey match and asked me to MC a boxing match.
And it just went from there?
Went from there, mate, yeah.
Do you enjoy the boxing? Obviously, I know it takes you away from your home quite a lot, around the country and even around the world at some points, but do you enjoy it?
I love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's just, I wouldn't step into a ring with a pair of gloves, but I can get to step into a ring, introduce the guys, hopefully give them the best introduction I can do, and get out again before the action starts, and that'll do me.
Tell us some of the fights that you've enjoyed MCing or hosting. What fighters have had a buzz from your job, from your work?
Best fight I've been involved in, not just for atmosphere wise, has got to be Frampton at the Titanic. Outdoors, 16,000 seater. It's freezing cold, but imagine building a 16,000 stadium for somebody and then getting to introduce them as the new champion of the world. That's up there. That's got to be up there.
Yeah, I bet that was a great memory.
It's brilliant. I did the Commonwealth Games in the amateurs.
Yeah.
249 fights over 9 days. Loved every one of them. Loved it when Josh Taylor and Charlie Flynn won the gold medal. That was special.
Yeah. How much prep time do you put into your work? I mean, we obviously see you delivering and sort of announcing the fighters, but do you put prep time on research into what you do?
Loads. If you're not prepared, then that's when you screw up. Box recs, a godsend.
Yeah.
Amateur contests, I go along, I still do the amateurs, I go along and I don't know who the boxers are until I get there, so I get there early. Just try and talk to them all. Just find out, you know, are you a champion? You know, it doesn't matter whether it's been in the novices, the intermediates, Scottish champion, English champion. Just to give them something, just to say, comes to the ring, former 3-time Scottish champion, John Smith, with the pros. BoxRec's fantastic. It's got absolutely everything on it. So Matchroom will send me the bill round about 5 days beforehand. It might change, but I do all my stuff. I print it all. I'll tell you my secrets. I print it all in big letters, because if not, I've got to wear my glasses.
Yeah.
So it gets printed in big font.
Do you remember it easier as well if you see it in a bigger font?
It's there on a card. Excuse me a minute. I just got
Go on, mate.
ticket in.
Thank you for shopping at the St. Enoch Centre.
Thank you for
Thank
shopping.
you,
Yeah,
St.
thank you. I've got it on a card and it's a safety net, and I try my hardest not to look at the cards as much as I can. So it's there when I need it. I should know the guy's name, I should know where he's from, I should pretty much know his record. But fortunately, when it goes to him, if we're on TV, the camera's focused away from me, so I can have a good look. But I try and make it look as seamless as possible, but all the stuff's down there in black and white. So
how much do you learn from other MCs? And don't give me this, they're all great, they're all brilliant, because I'm sure there's some terrible ones as well as some great ones.
There's some real dogs out there. But the only MC that I really like the style of beyond anybody is Buffer. And I never worked with him before about 2 years ago, and since then I've lost count of the number of times I've worked with him. And you know, some people prefer Lennon to Buffer. I like Buffer. He's cool, he's got a deep baritone voice, he just has an aura.
It's just cool, isn't it?
He's got a presence. He's got a presence that none of us will ever have. So I don't model myself on anybody. I try and still sound Scottish, although Glaswegians think I sound a wee bit English. But I try and be clear and not waste my words. Some MCs kind of tell people a bit too much. People who get short attention spans, they're not there to listen to me, but there's certain things you've got to read out. You know, you've got to read out the sponsors, the officials, everything. But the main guys are the boxers. So there's a few MCs I really like. Buffer's one of them. Jimmy Lennon's very consummate, but I do prefer Mr. Buffer style.
Got to say, I've seen you work with Buffer and doing the undercards, and when Buffer went, "Thank you, Mr. Craig Stevens," I saw a little buzz and a little bit of joy come out your face a little bit.
It's nice. It's nice. Well, some people will say on Twitter, "Oh, you know, you've done the whole card and then you're stepping aside for the main event for Michael Buffer." If truth be told, I'd rather he wasn't there, and I'd rather I was doing the main event like I was doing 2 weeks ago with Crawler, and like I'm doing tomorrow night. But I don't feel any kick in the teeth because I'm stepping aside for him, because he's the man. He's been there. He's a global brand. I'll never be a global brand. I don't think technically he's any better or worse than I am, but he's Michael Buffer. You know, and it's no shame to step aside for him. Absolutely not. We get on well. He's cool.
Are you a huge boxing fan in your own time, or is it a fact that that's your work, so it's made you a fan?
That's right. I mean, when Stevie McGuire asked me to do my first show, I said to him, "Stevie, I don't really know much about boxing," and he said, "You don't need to know F all about boxing. You're only shouting out a couple of names."
It's quite a good point to me.
It was, and so no, I wasn't a massive boxing fan, because at that time I didn't have Sky, and it was really only on Sky. So when I was a kid, I'd watch boxing if it was on the telly, but I was never a massive fan. I didn't really understand the sport. I thought it was just two guys getting in and just slugging at each other. But I get it now. I get the sport, and you can't be doing this for 15 years and not become a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of the boxers. It doesn't matter whether it's a little 14-year-old kid making his debut or Ricky Burns defending his world title. It takes just the utmost courage to step into the boxing ring. That's why I don't like booing. I won't say anything about it in the pros because I'd probably get shouted at by somebody, but in the amateurs, if there's any booing, I try and just explain to them that both the guys respect each other and they deserve your respect, and it usually gets a wee round of applause, and they're not really booing the boxers. They might boo a decision or two, but it feels to me that one of the boxers thinks they're getting booed, and I just try and, you know, maybe educate the crowd's not the right word to say, but just try and point out that it takes a lot of courage to step in the ropes.
Speaking of which, it's just a week since the passing of Mike Tow, and we saw boxing come together in large for the greater cause of helping Mike Tow's family and helping to sort of establish some sort of future for his family without Mike Tow, and it must be sort of one of the hardest things to deal with. How did you find that, having to speak about those things today and having to deal with that, if you like?
Today, I was okay today. I was down in Stoke with Ricky Hatton last Saturday, and I spoke to the crowd about it, and for the first time, no, not for the first time, I was there on Thursday night. We had an inkling that it was bad, but we didn't think it was as bad. And it was Friday night before I knew that Mike had passed, and I went to bed and I got up on Saturday morning and I read some stuff on social media, and then I read a post by Chloe, his partner, and that was me. I was off. It was so heart-wrenching. I think she started off by saying, last night I lost my annoying best friend, and I was in bits just reading that. It's tough, it is so heartbreaking, but we're going to do the best we can. Ricky Hatton started up the fund, which is phenomenal. It's sitting about 43,000.
Fantastic for Ricky Hatton to take it upon himself to do that.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He started it off with 5,000, and by 10 o'clock that night it had reached 20, and it's still growing. Matchroom are doing something,
Yep.
Other promoters are going doing something. Ryan Rhodes told me that he wants to start up a fundraising page with the guys in the gym. Billy Nelson's going to do something up here in Scotland. I know the St Andrews are planning something for their next show, and it will be all about Mike Towell. So we can't change what's happened. The boxing family can only try and make things a little bit easier financially for his little boy Rocco and his partner. And you can't forget, she's been forgotten a little bit because I've been focusing on his partner. His mum was Mike's biggest supporter. She was at every fight. She was very vocal, and she'll be absolutely broken. So I think the only comfort that might come from the family is the outpouring of love that is very public, and respect for Mike. We'll do 10 bells tomorrow night, and you'll hear a pin drop in the place. Absolutely.
What kind of atmosphere will we expect tomorrow?